In recent years, the climate change has become a central issue in the UK politics, but also in the voters' awareness. Addressing this global crisis is essential for the success of the next Parliament. The UK aims to achieve the net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. This means that the amount of carbon emissions that is produced by human activity should be balanced to the emission reductions. How we get to this point and the changes needed in the economy is what we call the green transition. The net zero target was adopted by the UK back in 2008 with the Climate Change Act. In 2018, the UK became legally blinded to it. It is the first major economy to do it. Our government is required to create and implement policies to meet the carbon budgets and the targets. Although the UK has successfully achieved the first 3 carbon budgets, there are concerns about future carbon budgets and future targets. So, what should the next governing party do to manage the transition effectively? First, the UK needs to accelerate its effort to cut emissions, especially in sectors like buildings and transport. In 2022, the transport sector was the largest consumer of energy and the highest emitter, accounting around 28% of the total emissions. Policies centered on the energy efficiency of vehicles, electrification of the public transport, or the promote of other fuels could contribute greatly to this objective. The building sector is the second largest emitter, mainly due to the heating system. Policies focusing on improving the energy efficiency of homes and adopting low-carbon heating systems will be encouraged. The Climate Change Committee, an external advisor of the government, reports that to meet the climate goals, the UK needs to cut emissions much faster, from 1.2% yearly reduction to a 4.7% reduction. That's a lot. It's important to stress that the energy mix of the UK still relies too much on fossil fuels. This highlights the need to boost the renewable energy sources. Carbon pricing is setting a price on greenhouse gas emissions and let the market to react. It's making those goods that are more pollutant expensive. It is a key policy in the climate framework because it links the emission to its source. Currently in the UK, the carbon tax mechanisms are not enough to incentivize the decarbonization of the economy. So the next government needs to implement credible mechanisms, widen the sectoral inclusion, and apply strong penalties. Carbon pricing is also a source of revenue that can be used to avoid some political backlash, mitigate impacts of the climate change, or fund future climate action. In our general election briefing, we have analyzed the economic impact of the different options for recycling this revenue that the government has. We found out that a fully recycling towards public investment gives the most beneficial to the GDP. Alongside with this revenue, there is a need for mobilizing public investment. It will drive economic growth, but also attract more private investment. Climate change is an issue that cannot be ignored in the next upcoming election. The next government must outline clear commitments to make the green transition a priority.